What's up with it? It's your boy Expat D back with another video. Today we're going to talk about the loneliness problem in America. So this is something that big problem, a lot of different factors, something that you may notice more when you leave the country and come back. All right, here's Kid Greatness. He's a YouTuber. He lives in Kenya. Let's hear what he has to say.
First place when it comes to social life. Like, I've been back in the States for about a week now, and I have no idea how people live here. Like every time I've come back to America from either like Asia, Africa, like it's just like I have a reverse culture shock, because it seems like people are just like dead inside.
Yeah, this reverse culture shock is real, you know. The thing about it is, when you leave a country and you notice that things are different, maybe you don't have to pay for a certain thing, or maybe you notice that the way people act is different. The differences that you'll see, whether it's positive or negative, that they'll stand out like a sore thumb, because you've seen a different place function differently. Sometimes when you get caught up in the same environment, it has a way of making you feel like the whole earth is like this. But when you travel to somewhere new, you're like, oh wow, like it's not like this everywhere. And that's one of the beauties of traveling.
If you look at people's eyes and it's lifeless, and then you just like ask people like, yo, okay, today's Friday. What is going on today? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, okay, what you been doing? Like, I've been going for like 4 months. Like, what do you
see? But that's the thing about this 9 to 5 routine. When people get caught up in a certain routine in the States, it's just like you try to get through the week to get to the weekend. Get to the weekend, then you get to the week. It's just this repetitive cycle. And this is a real thing, man. When I travel back and talk to people, of course, when you do travel to other countries, and depending on the type of lifestyle you live, there's a lot of new experiences that you get in a year. And when you come back, it's almost like life just seems so monotonous in comparison. It just seems so routine. You talk to people and it's almost like they're in a loop. It's like, so what did you do? Nothing. It's like same old. Just work, hustling, grinding. And it's like, I think when you leave and you see a comparison, you start to notice, dang, like this is, you kind of see what's going on, but you have to step out and be an outsider looking in to really see just how people are really kind of just controlled by society. We're not roaming free like we used to. A lot less social. A lot of loneliness going on, and it's only getting worse with technology.
You've been up to? Nothing, man. Just maintaining. Man. I'm like, yo, like, what the hell have you been doing? Like, every time I leave, I leave 3 months, 6 months, and then when I come back to America, it seems like nothing ever changes. Like, people are still in the same rut that I left them in. Like nothing ever changes, and the people are just like lost. Like, it really looks like people are like zombies here. Like, America is the
this is really true here. It's almost like a zombie thing going on. I kind of agree with that. So yeah, you really get caught up in the schedule, and especially when you're working a lot of hours, it really looks like you're just trying to survive. You're low on rest. You're just trying to make it. You're just trying to grind just to pay the next bill and do it all over again. So a lot of people don't even have time to sit back and reflect on what's going on. They're just trying to survive, and it's been like this for years. All right, so we're on to our next video. Let's check this out. So this looks like a guy. He sounds to me like he's from Africa, but yeah, let's see. Another person talking about America being lonely.
Yeah, listen, I don't care what anybody says. If I have the chance, I'm going back to Africa. I'm not going to stay in the United States. If I had that choice to go back to Africa right now, I'm going back to Africa. America is not a great place. It's not a great place to live. Never. America is a very lonely country. How you stay in a neighborhood where you don't even see your neighbors? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
You know, what he said is so real. I'm gonna tell you what. I ended up this is some years back. I bought a house in Las Vegas, and I mean, part of it is because it's hot, but I did not see any of my neighbors. I had no idea who they were, and I'm not somebody that like. I don't have like a rocking chair or something that I put on the porch. I'm not like hanging out in the front of my house or whatever. So literally, if my neighbors, my next door neighbor, either the left, the right, any of them were behind me in the grocery store or in Walmart, I had no idea. I literally have no idea who they were. So it's real, man. What he's saying is so real. You have no idea who your neighbors were. And you think like, okay, you see on television where, you know, somebody brings you a pie or something if you're new to the neighborhood. I don't know why we're keeping up this facade through the media. It hasn't been like that since, oh my goodness, the 90s maybe the 90s, probably the 80s. But I don't know why we're keeping up this facade like that.
Go to work, you come back. They go to work, they come back. Your kids don't see their kids. Your children don't see their children. Everybody just be going in and out, in and out. And nobody speak to nobody in America. In Africa, you see peace.
Yeah, what he's saying is so real. Like, we just have like, or as a society, it started like, you know, 60s, 70s, where you can get by with a one income household. You can get a house, car, maybe take a vacation or something. Now it's turned, you know, it's went from that to both parents in the house working. And then it went from that to like both people working with like a side hustle or overtime or something like that. It's turned to a complete mess. But what that's done to society is it's basically just forcing where everyone is spread out in different directions. And yeah, just busy being busy. And you even see that in the schools where the parent, man, as a teacher, I remember some teaching jobs I've had when I was in America. You call the parents and they're like, what do you want me to do? I'm at work. You know, they're working in the evening at some grocery store or something, the deli department, and like, well, what you want me to do? Right? So that's the way it is. And then another thing is this not speaking thing. I don't know where that came from. I mean, it wasn't always like that. Maybe 70s, 80s, 90s, people would speak. Now, I don't know why they act like they can't speak to nobody. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, but that's not really our culture. Maybe that's how it is in Europe, but that's what we've become in America. Part of it could be the technology, but it's really turned into a very like isolated, individualistic society.
You see children playing. You see kids playing around. You see families. You see children going from house to house to house to study the Bible, study books.
Let me tell you something. When I recently came back from Kenya, And it was a lot like that. It was. I mean, I saw kids playing outside, and it had that vibe. Like if it's like Thanksgiving or Fourth of July or Labor Day weekend or something like that, and you have family and friends over, the cousins and all that stuff. It had that vibe like the 80s and 90s when I was in Kenya. Very social, and that really shows us it's not just about the money. There's certain things socially that is, you know how you look at a house and you say, well, why is this same house more money? It's like the identical house, but this one might be near a beach. Or this one might be like closer to like train stations or the highway or something like that. I don't know if we're evaluating things properly. Like when you look at certain countries, socially, it's just to, and I might need to be quiet about this before they realize this and make things more expensive. But some of your countries that are the cheapest from a social level, they're like, you get a lot. So you can't measure everything with money.
Reading together, solving mathematics, doing homework together in Africa. You see peace everywhere. If not for the constant lights, electricity, if not for the security, and I'll say for the good roads in the US, I will carry my bag and go back to Africa. America is very, very lonely. Very, very lonely.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, like when you do travel, you get a chance to see the pros and the cons. I mean, America does have a good infrastructure. There are good roads. There are good, like, infrastructures in place, like stoplights, stop signs. I mean, like you kind of take that stuff for granted until you go to other countries and you're just like, dang, like like the way typically they drive in the States, for the most part, they obey like the traffic rules and the stop signs and the stoplights and like they're like when you start going to other countries, it's almost like you do what the hell you want. I mean, people are like trying to make U-turns from the middle lane and stuff, and it can be a straight mess. Sometimes you go to other countries. So the infrastructure, that is a positive. That is a positive from America. I'll give them credit for that. But the loneliness factor, oh my God, it's bad. And it's only getting worse.
Not a place to live at all. You cannot. Everybody just looking at everybody like a suspect. Nobody want to talk to nobody. Everybody.
Look, this is something. And I'll tell you, we do so much freaking fear mongering with the news. To me, one way I can definitely tell an American person is that they're always like extremely cautious. They're always like watching their back. They always think somebody's following them. They always think somebody's trying to like steal their purse or like, yeah, it's you know what? I don't even see that in Europe. They don't act like that. That's one thing that they always think something is unsafe or something. That's just how they do you. And that comes from the media and the news, particularly in the States.
Scared of everybody. You want to you get in trouble because you're talking to somebody. They call the police for you for the slightest. Any small thing, they don't look at you like say you be thief. Why is America like this? It's supposed to be a great country, right? So what's the problem? Why is everybody looking at everybody like you don't want to speak to your own neighbor? You don't want to talk to your own neighbor? You stay in a neighborhood for like 3 months. You don't see your neighbor. The next house don't even speak to you. The next compound look at you like you're a criminal. Like if you talk like one, they look at you like, let me call the police on this man. He's trespassing. Your own neighbor will say you're trespassing. In Africa, it's all love. I'm waiting to hit Mega Million. Once I hit this Mega Million, I'm going back.
Man, I think if I hit $1 million, I might go to Africa too. Shoot. That's a whole different conversation if you get $1 million.
America is
All right, so we're back now. Okay, back with our last video. We're looking at loneliness in America. All right, we got a lady this time. See what she has to say.
Going through a loneliness epidemic. From the ages of 15 to 24 are 70% less likely to have quality social interactions. Being in America cater to a very individual.
Yeah, I don't, I think there's more to it than just the ages of like 17 to like, what did she say, 24? Or 15 to 24. Now, one thing to note is that you got to look at the technology aspect. And you're starting to get into age groups where they've just been given like a tablet in their stroller, right? The kid's like, wah, wah, and then dun, 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 right? They putting Peppa Pig playing in their stroller to keep them quiet. So that's the difference. And in looking at technology, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. But I think more age groups are suffering from that as well. Just with the more technology that's increasing, just the more loneliness, the more individualistic the society is. Yeah.
Culture, so there's a lot of division. Here are some reasons contributing to why I think the loneliness epidemic is happening and some ways that we can combat it on an individual level. Try to stay connected with more people in our own lives. America in general, and just Americans, we've cultivated a very individualistic culture. And although that mindset has put us in a position to compete really well economically, the rise of technology and the huge cultural shift in the pandemic.
So one thing you want to look at is, here's my question. Would you be willing to trade all the technology advances that we've had since the 80s for the social life that we had back then? Because right now our social life is cooked. But we do have social media. And social media, the thing is it's almost like it gives you the illusion that you have people around you when you really don't. I'll tell you an example of, I remember a guy that was in my dorm room when I was in college. And he would always come back with these stories like, man, I met this girl the other day. And man, she said this to me. She said that to me. Ooh, oh, right. And I remember one day, just one of my buddies, he said, hey man, he was like, did you meet this girl in real life or did you meet her on the internet? He was like, I mean, I was chatting with her online. He was like, well, have you ever met any of these girls in real life or are they all on the internet? I mean, they're on the internet, man. But I mean, like they showed me the camera. They showed me, we talked on camera. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are, some of them probably catfishing him, I'm sure. But it's just the fact that he really actually hasn't had a date in years. But he feels like through the internet that he is just popping, right? He's got the social life. He's talking to this one and that one and pulling this one and that one. And it's all like one big illusion. And I think for us, it's like, we might see our cousins or family or whatever online, maybe Facebook or whatever site. And it's like, you feel like you've heard with them or if you interacted with them, but none of it is in person. So this is kind of creating these illusions of like, we have this social life. Because back in the day, it's kind of like, if you didn't visit someone personally or gave them an actual phone call, that's it. People could disappear for months and months and years, and you know nothing about them. Here, you could just kind of still follow them and keep up with them on social media, but you haven't actually been around them. But it gives you the feeling like you have. So it's kind of a catch-22.
It's really created this barrier and almost bias between connecting with people. Mentioned in some cities, we don't really have a central transportation system. For example, in high populated cities like New York, a lot of people walk, a lot of people take the subway. It really increases the social interaction and communal space for people to be together and to connect. Versus someone like me who lives in California, sometimes can be around a 30-minute to an hour drive to get to your destination.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm fully buying what she's saying with that. I mean, I'm from California also. There's a train system, you know, BART system. San Francisco, they have Muni. So there's a lot of different, just like New York, there's a lot of different train systems and things like that. The thing about it is, I don't find it cheaper. I almost feel like if you take a car, take a train, it should be cheaper than driving there yourself. So then more people will ride the train and then it'll be more environmentally friendly. Instead, they just keep hiking the price up. So I don't really know what the goal is of that. But that being said, there are train systems in California and, you know, people are able to be around each other. They just got their phone in their hand. So you don't have the same, like, it's really the same thing. You're just physically around people that are on their phones. That's what's going on. But yeah, but my thing is, one thing to point out, technology. That's a big deal. That's the more technology we're going to get, the more that we're going to see that's going to be people's friends. Watch, there's going to be a point in time where people's whole, just like I gave the example of that guy and everyone he was talking to was online. Pretty soon, there'll be people where all their social interactions are with robots. And it's like they're going to go to school and it's going to be a robot teaching them. It's going to be some type of like text generated software that's giving them feedback, right? Then they're going to have at their home, they're going to have like some type of maid or something that's going to be a robot. And, you know, you'll start noticing that all their interactions are going to be robots. So watch, that's going to happen. And that's going to have us looking wacky on a whole nother level. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here. Thanks a lot for joining me. If you stayed on to the end of the video, Expat D. Okay, I try to keep you guys informed of what's going on around the world, hottest trends. And yeah, I'm someone that's left America, and I've been out of the country for just going on 8 years in a row. I've been in and out since 2002. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here. Thanks a lot for joining me. Peace and I'm out.